Hai, selamat sore. Welcome to Europe on Screen Instagram Live, Road to Europe on Screen 2023. Program ini adalah program pra festival Europe on Screen di mana kita akan ngobrol dengan praktisi film dari Indonesia dan dari Eropa. But today we will be talking in English again because we will be having conversation very soon with Matthieu Eberhardt of Festival Scope. I'm sure you are already familiar with Festival Scope because Europe on Screen has hosted or has put up our films in Festival Scope in the past 3 years from 2020 to 2022. If you recall, some of you may already watch our films in Festival Scope. So while waiting for Matthieu Eberhardt from Festival Scope, I would like to remind you on our program again. Nggak berhenti-berhentinya saya mengingatkan teman-teman untuk ikut program short film pitching project di mana kalian bisa mengirimkan ide cerita film pendek ke kami sebelum tanggal 30 April. Silakan lihat syarat dan ketentuan pendaftarannya di salah satu postingan media sosial kami tentang short film pitching project. Oh iya, sesi kali ini berlangsung sedikit lebih awal, 5 menit lebih awal, dan mungkin nanti selesainya lebih cepat karena saya sedang tidak di Jakarta, jadi azan maghrib di sini lebih cepat dari biasanya. So we will have to wrap up a little bit earlier because the call for prayer here is a bit faster than the one in Jakarta. So please bear in mind. Dan semoga teman-teman sudah merayakan liburan. If you are in Indonesia, I hope you are already having a big break for the Eid holiday starting today actually, and some already started yesterday. Jadi buat teman-teman pembuat film, penulis naskah, silakan mengisi waktu liburan ini untuk memikirkan ide naskah cerita film pendek, kemudian dikirimkan ke kami untuk diikutkan dalam short film pitching project. Deadline 30 April. Kami akan memilih 10 cerita terbaik yang nantinya akan kami undang untuk bisa pitch di depan juri yang terdiri dari Indonesian Film Professionals, ada sutradara, produser, dan juga penulis yang menjadi menjadi juri. Kemudian dari 10 finalis akan kami pilih 3 proyek terbaik. 3 proyek terbaik ini akan kami berikan partial production fund atau sebagian dana produksi untuk kemudian diproduksi menjadi film pendek yang bisa teman-teman saksikan di Europe on Screen tahun berikutnya. So it's like one big continuous project or program that we are having here in Europe on Screen. Dan teman-teman mungkin juga bisa melihat beberapa contoh karya short film pitching project pemenang tahun-tahun sebelumnya. Mungkin di beberapa platform sudah ada. Ya, silahkan aja. Atau mungkin kalau misalnya teman-teman juga mau cari inspirasi, cek obrolan kami dengan para pemenang short film pitching project di tahun-tahun sebelumnya. Ada di YouTube, ada juga di Instagram ini. Jadi teman-teman bisa belajar, bisa sekalian cari tahu pengalaman previous winners, pengalaman pemenang-pemenang sebelumnya, dan mungkin bisa dapat inspirasi untuk memberikan atau untuk menulis cerita yang terbaik. Okay, I think we can start inviting Festival Scope. We can start inviting Matthieu. Let me see. Yeah. About having online screening or online film festival, feel free to drop your comments.
How are you?
Hi, Matthieu. Hi.
I'm good. I'm good.
How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having the time as well. It's been a long time. The last time we met in person was
Yes,
last year in
it was a
Cannes.
long time. Yeah.
It was a long time. Will you be in
not
Cannes
this not this month. I will be too busy with the online festivals, but my colleagues will be in Cannes to represent Festival Scope. Yeah.
Okay.
Will you be in Cannes?
Okay. I will be in Cannes, but unfortunately I'm not traveling to Paris, but Putri will travel to Paris. So maybe if you want to catch up with
Definitely,
her.
we will share a piece of cake.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Before we start, perhaps you can introduce yourself to
Of course.
our followers
Well, I'm
here.
Matthieu. I'm a partnership and marketing manager at Festival Scope, the festival on demand platform where we host the festivals online, and we did host the European Film Festival in Indonesia.
Right. And yeah, actually, I was only aware of Festival Scope during the pandemic when we
Oh,
had to
yeah.
shift our festival
Mm.
from being offline to online. But perhaps can you share like the story behind the formation of Festival Scope? Like when was it initiated? Why was it
Yeah, sure.
initiated?
Well, Festival Scope, first of all, is as a brand has two platforms. We created a first. I mean, the idea came in 2011 when we created the platform for professionals
Okay.
only. So the idea was to bring all type of festivals from all over the world to join in one common place, an online platform, and to
Mm-hmm.
connect distributors, sales agents, programmers, and basically all of the professional in the industry. And 5 years running into this process, the need to create a second platform for the public felt very natural. So in 2016, the Festival Scope, the platform that you know now, has been created with dozens of festivals a year with one simple concept. The festival happens in physical, and we take over at the end of the festival to extend the festival online and to have a rerun, a catch-up
Mm-hmm.
session online for a limited amount of time, a limited number of tickets too. And that was for 2 years with only this typology of festivals all over the world, and basically a screening room for festivals. So that was the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
initial idea, always being on the spectrum of the festivals. And I mean, the main goal was to promote and to make available these first category films. I mean, they were basically shown in festivals for the first time. They were not distributed yet. It was sometimes features, it was sometimes short films. So it was
Mm-hmm.
the main goal, and for the festivals also to expand their community. And back in 2018, it was not very easy, and it was not quite common to have this
Mm-hmm.
type of
Yeah.
platform, let's say.
Yeah. So it's actually been more than 10 years. You mentioned it was in 2011. I mean,
Exactly.
for the
Yeah, yeah. And
professionals.
the activity expanded quite well since 2011. The platform for professionals is still running with um,
Yeah.
more features and more film professional visiting the platform. And while
Uh,
the professional platform expanded, we also made the public platform evolve with something more more complementary, more transversal with the festival action that we were doing. So we started to work with institutional partners, with schools, with universities, because the
yeah.
professional platform was mostly in contact with the festivals, showcasing a festival online, and the films were available for the professionals. But sometimes it was also for a private event, or for a committee selection,
Yeah.
or for stuff like this. So it was
Yeah.
very interesting to have this second platform, and for 2 years up until the pandemic, to make new projects around the festivals, but available to the public. So yeah.
I mean, for the public section of the festival, for the public section of the festival scope that was initiated in 2018, I would like to know how hard was it in getting
first getting festivals or getting films being screened, and second, how hard was it to get people to actually
Mm, mm.
log in and watch in the
No, I
initial
mean
years?
it's a very good question because it was not easy. It was not something not natural for
Mm.
for the audience.
Yeah.
In 2018, the behavior of the audience was not the same as right now. The consumption of content, the consumption of
Mm.
films online were really not the same. So first
Mm.
on the festival
Mm.
side, it was either very easy because they were a bit in advance ahead of time, and they understood the
Yeah.
complementary tool that the online component could
Yeah.
have. So it was very interesting to work with these, and also interesting to work with the festivals that were a bit more reluctant, that felt that the online could be an obstacle, kind of like a
Mm-hmm.
to vampirize the cinemas and stuff like this. So it was I think it was
Yeah.
a more general question that was happening with
Mm.
screening a film online. But most importantly, we were not a SVOD platform. We were not a VOD platform because to enter the
Yeah.
platform, it was
Mm.
very easy. The audience
Yeah.
could just log in, just like a
Mm.
regular website. So for the audience, it was also easy, but at the same time disturbing to understand how this was working, because they were logging into a platform and they were seeing films only available in their
Yeah.
countries, sometimes not
Yeah.
available. So I
Yeah.
think it was part of the adaptation, the 2 years before 2020 adaptation
Yeah.
to the public, and then in 2020 they had to adapt. They were kind of forced,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it was sometimes bad for them because everything changed. But at the same time, I think it desacralized the online screening, and they
Yeah.
felt it was easier than they thought, and that was, I think, a good point. Overall, the very sad situation that the world was getting into.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I was about to ask you the question. Cut to 2 years later in 2020, during the especially in the early days of pandemic, it was overwhelming for
Mm.
us because we didn't know what to do. But I would like to, I mean, if you can share with us on the early days of pandemic from your side, having had an infrastructure, a system that is sort of like prepared to handle this kind of situation. But I mean, it was still surprising for you, right? And how overwhelming was it,
Mm.
like suddenly receiving requests
Yeah.
from
No, it
festivals
was
around the world?
definitely overwhelming because when the pandemic happened and the festivals in physic were canceled, we sensed an urgency for the festival to happen. So
Yeah,
the concept and the dynamic that we installed was really really not the same. So we had a lot of demands of festivals wanted to. I mean, it was very
yeah,
interesting because we thought of it, we were ready, but at the same time, festivals were coming to us thinking they were asking something that was not possible. Like the festival is cancelled, and we discovered Festival Scope, and we thought, would it be possible to have our festival online? And we were just replying, well, this is actually
yeah.
what we do. We just create a festival in two
You do,
times,
yeah.
physical and online.
Mm-hmm.
So that started from there. And then when we witnessed the the size of the festivals that were contacting
Yeah,
us, we decided to take measures and to implement new tools and new technical partners. And we begin our partnership with Shift 72, the New Zealand tech company, which, I mean, they were already hosting, I mean, working with festivals, but it felt very natural, and it was a complementary tool to have. So it was in a way a safety for the festivals and for us to have the festival online, which was already the case before, but felt like also more space for us to develop strategy, promotion, and to make the concept very easy. So 2020 and beginning of 2021 was really about this, setting festivals urgently, and our main goal was for the films to be shown, for the festival to happen, because even if for us it was kind of an opportunity, we didn't say like this at the time, because I mean, it didn't feel like an opportunity with everything was happening, but it was also an opportunity for the festivals to still being shown, and we really didn't want the industry to not have the festival, basically. So that was really important and really an emergency, basically, up until 2021, and then it swifted a bit with more adaptabilities and things back to normal. So yeah, it was not easy, but festivals were inclined and happy. So that was, and also during that time, the audience adapted. So that was also very interesting to witness.
Yes, and I remember in 2020, basically, it's I get to experience, although virtually, different festivals. Like many festivals, I've never even been able to attend if they were done physically. But now, since they were done virtually, I could, like pick different festivals, and I noticed that some festivals were hosted in different platforms, not using Festival Scope, and some using Eventive. And perhaps if you could share just a little bit about the how to say, the market there, or the competition there, like how many similar platforms or server that caters to this virtual festivals.
Well, while we were expanding, and while the industry was while the pandemic was happening, a lot of new platforms were born. Platforms like us, I think, in 2020 and 18, there were not much VOD platform in a very simple way where you could attend a festival like this, because I mean, we chose to have the festival as a target, as a filter, on a theme on the festival, and I think that was quite new at the time. Then with festivals and the need to happen online, festivals turned to local platforms. So that's something that we witnessed a lot.
Right.
I think this is our main competitors, because when we reach to a festival, we propose the festival to work with us, to host the festival with us, and the local platform is usually a easy, also a key in hand solution for the festival. So I would say the local platforms are a very big competitors, because they're not a platform like us. They're just they are a technical solution for the platform to happen. Then you have platforms just like VOD Factory, which is a platform that propose other website, and festivals are very keen on working with them. Shift 72 is also doing this, and I think while there is a competition, I think, I mean, what we saw with Shift 72, it was more interesting for us to adapt and to team up, basically, because we cannot be threatened by local platforms, because it is understandable, and it is very logical, and it is very also a very good news for the tech industry within each countries to develop. So this is why we try to propose something very unique, and something that comes with a guidance, a promotional package, and something very, the festival comes to us and we do everything. So that's something maybe the other platforms are not doing, because usually they provide with a technical setup, and then someone from the festival usually have to work on it.
And and speaking of the familiarity, I think the benefit, I mean, for us at that time, in using Festival Scope, is that when we deal with sales agent or distributors in getting their films being screened online, and we mentioned Festival Scope and Shift 72, and they like totally are familiar with you guys. So I would like to know, does this go back to 2018 when you work together with sales agent and distributors? Like how close you build relationship with them? How do you maintain the relationship?
Well, the relationship started also back in 2011 with the professional platform, because
2011.
Okay, so you're talking about the professional one. So definitely it's coming from this area. Also because the funders of Festival Scope come from a background of sales and production, so they were familiar, and they already came with a background of people who trusted them. And with this new system, it built also a new trust, and also a new synergies. So basically, the trust in the sales agent came with results in festivals, security also, and a kind of like a little by little step. I mean, it took time for them to agree sometimes to the catch-up sessions. It was mostly not complicated with the distributors, but it was trickier with the distributors, because for them it was maybe a threat to let a film happening online. So I mean, you experienced it yourself. After 2021, I mean, getting the rights for films were getting way more difficult, and we are also experiencing now, because the Swift and the rebalanced, the dynamic that changed in 2020 also happened for the festivals, for the distributors, for the sales agents. I mean, the industry was touched by the pandemic. So while they were adapting, agreeing on something they would maybe not agree before, they had at some point to I think review their positions, and to just propose something that were more beneficial for them. So I think that's I mean, even now in 2023, we are still trying to find the right balance with all of the actors of the festival chain. So
yes, and the world keeps changing, so we have to adjust. Well, I mean, not most, but some of our followers and viewers are actually coming from a festival section. So I mean, I know this, but perhaps you and I can share like the behind the scene of making a festival online, like from your side. Perhaps you can share with us how many weeks or months maybe does a festival need to set up an online system, and how do you handle the preparation on the backside, and how do you make sure that Well, I mean, glitch happens, but let's say, how do you make sure to minimize the glitches during the festival?
Yeah, this is something that we get a lot also from the festivals sometimes and from the audience because I mean
Yeah,
it's very something interesting and also I mean complex and not so complex. But basically, the first tool that we had to have ready was the technical one. Once the technical tool was ready, it gave us more
yeah,
flexibility to schedule festivals with the festival. So we always start with understanding the need of the festival, what they want, because there are different type
yeah,
of typology of festivals. A festival could happen at the end of the physical festival, or sometimes within, or sometimes it can be
yeah.
private invitation before. So I mean, everything is possible in terms
Mm-hmm.
of the time frame, the screening window. So that's something that builds the strategy at the first. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
in a first time, and then we
Mm-hmm.
try to measure how many films, how many tickets, because
Yeah,
we work with
yeah,
I mean little time frame, I mean screening window and limited
yeah,
number of tickets. So we try to understand how this will be in order to plan the preparation. And then once everything is set up,
yeah,
we basically coordinate with the festival to receive all of the material and then to prepare the page depending on what they want. So I mean, because there will always be a festival scope label, because the festival is hosted, I mean, within the page. It's something
mm-hmm.
that has to come I mean, from the festival and from us, in a way that once people go to the page, they understand that they are on festival scope, but they are watching the Europe on screen in Indonesia. But also, if a promotion is happening on Europe on screen in Indonesia, they have to know that the films are available on festival scope. So it has to be branded and unique, but within still
Yeah,
the scope of festival. And on a technical point of view, the last step, once everything is set up in terms of the film pages and the page, would be to basically check all of the materials and the subtitles for
right.
everything to work just fine. And then the rest is handled by our developers and technical partners, so to ensure the good streaming of the films.
Yes, and yeah, the thing about virtual screening is that we do not know when our audiences will watch a film. Given, I mean, of course, they know that there is a specific time window, but we don't know whether they will watch it in the evening or in the morning, or whether they will pause at certain times. And um, sometimes, like I remember running a virtual film festival 3 years in a row. It keeps me awake almost every night, every day, in anticipating of like, glitches. And I'm sure, I emailed you like in the middle of the night, in the middle of the day, informing some technical glitches. Yeah, so how do you work around with the festivals to, to make sure that everything is in place?
Well, when there is I mean, we try to be available many, I mean, the most of the time, because we are on a European
Mm.
time zone.
Yeah, time
Yes,
difference.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
things I mean, because every members of Festival Scope were not in France or in Europe during the pandemic. It
Mm,
was practical for us to be everywhere every time, basically. When there is a
I see.
so when there is
Okay.
a because we're still a small team, but I mean we have a colleague in the United States. I mean everyone is based in France now, but during COVID it was particular, and because the situation was kind of like specific, it helped to work, especially with South America and Asia too. Otherwise, I mean, we did it with you. We try to adapt with the European time frame, and because of the technicalities can be scheduled. I mean, everything can be scheduled and everything can be programmed. This was something that was very helpful for us. And because it's online, I think the glitch are part of the experience. It was also an adaptation at the beginning for us, because new glitches were maybe happening and we had to correct them. I mean, now we're all good. So that's something also everyone experience in terms of how they coordinate, how they organize. Even for you, I think maybe now you are less 24/7 on the screen to see if everything is okay, or to see if everyone is watching the films, because I think once you discover, once you organize an online festival, there is another dynamic of everyone can watch every film all the time, every time. So if at 2 a.m. someone is sending the festival, this is not working, I understand the complication. Whereas on a physical event, the screening happens one time, and I mean, it's a one-time screening. So it was also something to adapt. I mean, ourselves technically, the festivals also, to understand that the times were not. I mean, we try to. I mean, we are reactive as much as possible, but and also the audience understood that because the film was available for a certain amount of days. If something was not working for them due to their computer or else, it could be fixed. It could be the issue could be solved basically. So in terms of customer feedback, it's really interesting because it decreased from 2020 to now, because users are now autonomous. They are very they can work their way out of the platform and out of the glitch too. Sometimes they can just work things out on their own when something is not working. So that's very interesting to witness.
Yes. Speaking of the customer feedback, I noticed with virtual screenings is that there is like a delayed reaction, because not everyone is watching the films at the same time. So sometimes, like, you know, 50% of the ticket being sold out, they watch on the first day, and then the next 25% of the audience watching on the second day. So the good thing is that at that time we kept receiving feedback on the same film for days to come. Like, let's say a film is available on the 5 days on festival scope. So we will receive this 5 days of feedback. And perhaps from your side, are there any interesting things, some unforgettable or memorable experience, especially during the past 3 years of pandemic when you set up the festivals?
Well, I think the behavior of the audience, the growth of the audience was something that was to me, because I'm setting up the partnership with the festivals, but I'm also working on the marketing aspect. It was very interesting to analyze the behavior and different components and how it was evolving. Also, what's something that was very that marked me was, I mean, on the customer service point of view, we always have users, especially in 2021 and 2020, that came to us saying, "Oh my God, thank you. The film was very good, and it would never have been distributed in my country, and it feels so good to have films available." I mean, it was we could see that for even for the festivals, but for for the country itself, it was very important.
Yeah.
On, of course, a much, I mean, on a smaller scale, but it was important for them to have access to this type of content. So when we were showcasing important films or very emotional films or films that were just from all over the world to a country that only knew local films from their country. I think that was very impressive, and we witnessed it only after the pandemic, because everything grew so fast. So that was this was very memorable. And the second one, I had it and then just forgot about it. But basically, the user's experience was very rewarding. Oh yes, also in terms of internet connection, because we are a streaming service all over the world, we had to adapt. For instance, screening a film in France and screening a film in South Africa was not, we could not prepare the same, because internet connection was not the same in South Africa, and we had to work with the universities. They have to work with internet providers. Users were already, I mean, we're watching the films on their mobile. So also this, to be part of something, of an expansion of to broaden the horizons, and also to broad culture to universities, to young people. That was something very interesting. We also worked with a lot of schools and with institutional partners that organize stuff for people who could not access films easily. So that felt very important. I mean, it still feels very important, but that was very very nice. Yeah.
Speaking of internet connection, I remember, I think it was in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, one of the films in our festival, in Festival Scopes, it was uploaded not in the highest resolutions, and I only found out after our follower on Twitter mentioned this, and he said, like, why is the picture quality is not as good as the others? And then another user said, oh, actually it looks fine, because the other user is actually accessing or watching it via mobile, but the other person is actually watching it on TV. So it's like a totally different experience. So one actually bothers with the quality, and the other person does not mind the quality at all. So I mean, when you're talking about the customer feedback, audience response, and the behavior of watching content, it has changed a lot during the pandemic. And since we already touched, the current post-pandemic era, I also noticed less and less festivals are in Festival Scope, not just in Festival Scope, but in different platforms as well. How does Festival Scope adjust to this new change? Are there any new features coming, or
well, this is something I mean, that we witnessed in the second part of the year in 2022, that less festivals were willing to do, not willing, but that the priorities have changed, because after the expansion, the evolution, and the adaptation in the middle, now we're more into a boomerang kind of phase, where festivals are still adapting, but they are putting all of their forces on the physical venue. So we have festivals that wants to do an online, but in terms of priorities, funding, I mean, 90% of the time it's because of the funding, obviously, and also because of staff sometimes, because putting a film online, festival online, is something, but to promote it is something else. So when someone is working on the promotion of a festival for festival, for the physical festival, and then has to go 2 more weeks online, sometimes in terms of logistics, it cannot work. So this is something outside of our kind of scope and competence. So this is something that we witnessed. And then we also witnessed the fact that the trend has changed in a way, trying to, I mean, it's getting back to 2020 before the pandemic. It's getting back to normal. The behaviors are kind of switching to, now we want to enjoy the cinemas. Also in terms of, I'm speaking of maybe more Europe for this, but maybe because of the inflation and all of the political events, the cinemas and the online events tend to have another relationships than maybe before, and we're still working on a complementary tool with the cinemas. But our goal is not to replace the cinemas. We will always, of course, promote the films in cinemas, but sometimes the complementary in terms of just how an event is created, I mean, cannot happen. So this is what we are witnessing in 2023, a real swift with the festivals that are really transparent with us, telling us we really think of just putting all of our forces on the physical presence, and let's try to think of something else for the online component. So in terms of new features, we have new features in terms of the technical ones that are not really interested now, but for the new features in terms of what we can propose, I mean, we are currently 100% working on it. I think it will go up until the end of the year in terms of how can the dynamic of festivals online can switch, and what can we propose now to make the experience better and to stay in this kind of complementary dynamic that we have. So unfortunately, there is not an answer right now, because if we don't do an event, an online event after the festival, then right now that we don't do anything. So we're currently working on new ideas, also in terms of with the festivals, and we hope to propose something very soon worldwide, because it is also something that we have in heart, to propose films and festivals online all over the world. So I mean, you will be the first to know when something will happen, but brainstorming is happening. It's not easy, because I mean, thousands now of new actors are online, and it's hard to position and to adapt, and also to propose something new, because we don't want to propose something that was already done by others. The idea is not to create new competition. The idea is to create more synergies and links between all of us. So we're working on it.
Well, I can't wait. And yeah, finally, the last question. If you can remember some of the films that you discovered in virtual screenings, especially in the past 3 years, what are they?
So I think one of the film that I discovered through the online festival scope was the 2021 Flea, the animated film by Danish director, I can't forget.
Flea,
the animated film about the Afghan refugee coming to Denmark and telling the story. It was part of the Lux Audience Award in 2021. So it was the time we were working with them to promote the 3 nominated films all over the world. and it was very interesting first to see how
Yeah.
the film was perceived in different countries, and also it felt at the time, it still is, but at the time, because it was released at the time, it felt very important to screen this film, and the film was very powerful. So it marked me in this way. Also because it was animation, and the power of animation was
Right.
on a little screen on a laptop. Felt amazing to discover this, and we had amazing feedbacks too. So it was really a film that marked me. And then, I mean, we have a bunch of very good films all over the platform. Maybe another one that I really liked was another animated films. This is the only one I'm thinking right now. The Fall of the Ibis King, which was a film in Venice, and it was a
Okay.
short film, and it was really intense too, very powerful, in an opera scene, with an older actor, and a new one trying to steal the thunder. It was very yeah, it dealt with depression, and it was very intense. And also to watch a film straight from Venice festival, that was quite something. And even if it was a short film, it was very intense. So it's yeah.
Yeah, and it was useful for me as well to learn how
Mm,
other festival
mm,
programs their films, especially, I mean, you know, if you're looking at Festival Scope at that time and see so many festivals, sometimes, I mean, it's fine that I'm not able to watch the films because of the geo block or the regional limitations, but just to see how they program, how they put their program information, the captions. Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot. So yeah, thank you. I hope you
thank
continue
you.
doing what you do. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
virtual screening is still around. People will be able to, I mean, people with who are unable to attend film festival physically will still need to access. I mean, even for me, when I program films, I can't possibly go to other every
Yeah.
major film festivals in the world. There is no way for me to do that. So yeah, sometimes I have to log into Festival Scope Pro to to get a preview or glimpse of
Yeah, no, I
the
mean
new films.
that's a good.
Yeah.
I think for everyone, the dynamic has changed, and I mean, even for the users who can't attend too many festivals during the year, I think just like the programmers, I think it's a nice alternative to have the online events. And I mean, I'm sure there will be new branches and new evolutions in the streaming industry, because it's growing every year, and it's every day, even every day, and it's in constant
Yeah.
move. So yeah, let's see what the future holds.
Definitely can't wait.
Thank you,
Well, thank you
Noval,
for your
and
time, Matthieu.
I hope to see you very soon. I mean, in France or in a festival.
Yeah, I hope so
Yeah,
too. I mean, too bad you
next
are
time.
not able to go to Cannes, but
Yeah.
well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see in the next time on the next festivals.
You too. Thank
Have
you.
a good day,
Bye.
Matthieu. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so that was Matthieu Eberhardt from Festival Scope. Kami berbagi pengalaman soal virtual screening di Festival Scope, dan hari sudah mulai gelap, sebentar lagi maghrib di tempat saya. Jadi ini adalah sesi Instagram Live terakhir minggu ini ya. Masih ada lagi minggu depan bersama rekan saya Putri, dan karena sebentar lagi Lebaran, izinkan saya, Noval Yazid, Festival Co-Director Virtual Screen, mengucapkan Selamat Hari Raya Idul Fitri. Mohon maaf lahir batin buat teman-teman semua. Jangan lupa ikut Short Film Pitching Project. Syarat dan ketentuan pendaftaran ada di postingan media sosial kami soal SFPP 2023 Short Film Pitching Project. Saya undur diri. Have a nice holiday ahead. Enjoy your time, guys.